Episode 1, The Birth of the Slasher Mindset. Welcome to Slasher Legacy, where horror history bleeds into myth. In this premiere episode, we journey into the psychological shadows that birthed the slasher genre, not with knives, but with fractured minds. Before masked killers stalked the screen, horror was intimate. It whispered through the corridors of the psyche. Films like Psycho, 1960, didn't just scare us, they dissected us. Norman Bates wasn't a monster. He was a mirror. And that's where the slasher mindset begins, not in the blade, but in the breakdown. The 1950s and early 60s saw a shift. Post-war anxieties, suburban isolation, and repressed trauma began to surface. Audiences were ready to confront the horror within. Peeping Tom, 1960, dared to make the viewer complicit, watching through the killer's lens. It was controversial, yes. But it cracked open a new kind of fear, voyeuristic, psychological, personal. These early films laid the groundwork for slasher logic. The killer as a product of trauma. The victim as symbolic innocence. The setting as claustrophobic battleground. This wasn't just storytelling, it was ritual. And horror fans were the congregation. Let's talk archetypes. The disturbed loner. The overbearing mother. The voyeur. These weren't just characters, they were psychological constructs. Norman Bates wasn't born evil. He was made. And that idea that killers are forged, not found, became central to slasher mythology. But why did this resonate? Because the audience was changing. The 1960s brought civil unrest, generational divides, and cultural upheaval. Horror became a way to process the chaos. And slashers, with their intimate violence, offered catharsis. The slasher mindset is rooted in duality. Public vs private. Sanity vs madness. Victim vs survivor. These tensions drive every slasher narrative. And they began here in the psychological horror of the early 1960s. Let's not forget the aesthetics. Low lighting. Sudden cuts. The killer's POV. These techniques weren't just cinematic, they were psychological triggers. They made us feel hunted. And that feeling became addictive. So what defines the slasher mindset? It's not just the kill count. It's the ritual. The trauma. The transformation. It's the idea that horror is personal and survival is mythic. As we move through the series, we'll trace how this mindset evolves. From masked killers to meta-commentary. From VHS gore to art house dread. But it all starts here with the mind unraveling. Next time, we explore the proto-slashers of the 1960s films that sharpened the blade before the genre had a name. Until then, stay wicked. Stay watching. This is Slasher Legacy.